Hello, welcome back to Sunday Doodles. Before we start drawing, I want to show you a quick gallery of all the awesome work that everybody sent me last week. We have so many doodlers, aren't these beautiful? I got emotional looking through these. Thank you so much for sending them. They make my day every time. If you sent me any and I forgot to put them in this video, please let me know and I'll make sure that they get into the next one. If you're new to Sunday Doodles, please check the description below this video. There's a way to get in contact with me. I'll love to hear from you and be in contact. Let's gather supplies and doodle. We need 6 or 8 pieces of paper to protect the table, a pencil, and a good eraser. We might need a few other things later, but those will be a surprise. This is going to be a little different from every Sunday doodle that we've ever done. I think you're really going to like it. This time, instead of doing our practice doodles here and our whole drawing here, we're going to do practice doodles on one whole page, and then our drawing's going to go here. So let's do some practice doodles. Let's draw a line that curves that way, and then back that way. So I curve over here, and then I curve back. You can practice these as many times as you need to. Or maybe it curves a few times. Speaking of curvy lines, draw a line that curves like this, up and down and up and down. Do you know how to draw a triangle? It's just 3 lines. The 2 lines meet at the top, and then a line across the bottom like this. We'll use some straight lines today that go this direction, and we'll also use some straight lines that are up and down. And we'll use a lot of curved lines, big curved lines and little curved lines, and tiny curved lines. I think we're ready. Just a little ways from the top, I'm going to draw a line like this. And then down at the bottom, anywhere at the bottom, another straight line. From this side of this line, I'm going to start a curved line, and maybe it curves once, or maybe it curves a few times. But when you have that, you need to make your other line kind of match it. They don't have to be perfect, but they do need to be about the same distance apart. If it's a little different from that, it'll be fine. So I'm going to leave a little empty space right here, and then right about here, I'm going to draw kind of a curved line. It should stop right about that line. And then on the other side, kind of right across from it, another line and another line. These can come all the way to the edges if you want to. Right up here, I'm going to draw a curved line that comes down and touches that somewhere. And then from part way up that line, I draw another curved line. And in between the two, I draw a small curved line like this. I'm going to draw some straight lines. It doesn't matter how many. Right over here, I'm going to draw something that might look familiar to you. I'm going to draw a straight line, a little bump curve, another little bump curve, another one, and another one, so that it looks like a cloud. In fact, it is a cloud. Right down here below it, I draw a line straight across, a line up, another line up. From right here, I'm going to make a line, it's going to line up straight across from there, so that it looks like there's a triangle behind. If you guessed that this was the mountain that we drew last time, you're correct. Right down here, I'm going to draw some other triangles. These are going to be full triangles. I'm going to draw one big one, one medium size, and one tiny one. Just a little above this corner right here, I'm going to draw a dot. I'm going to connect the line from there to the top corner and there to the bottom corner. You just drew a pyramid. I'm going to make each of these into a pyramid the same way. So a little bit above, I draw a small dot, and I connect to the top and the bottom. If you want to, you can even shade this side of the pyramid. And then they look 3D. I'm going to draw some wavy lines right here. They can be short wavy lines or long wavy lines, it won't matter. If the mountain is right here, just a little bit above it and over on this side, I'm going to draw a straight line across. So a little ways in from one end, going to draw a line. A little bit in from the other end, I draw another line, and 2 lines between those, just like that. You know that story about the guy named Moses who went up the mountain and talked to God? This story I'm about to tell you is in the Bible, and it happened a long time, hundreds of years before Jesus was born. Moses was a prophet, he was kind of a missionary, and he was a leader, and he helped save thousands of people who were stuck in a place called Egypt. Egypt has pyramids, which is why we drew pyramids. So when he led the people out of Egypt, they had to cross a huge piece of water called the Red Sea. It's a lot bigger than a lake, but a lot smaller than an ocean. God gave Moses power so that Moses could lead the people across on dry ground. It was an amazing miracle. After that was when Moses went up the mountain to talk to God. When he was up there, God told him a few things that the people needed to do. They were called commandments. God had also told Moses about a promised land. That's what this is. There was land where these people could live, and that there were blessings that he wanted to give them. After Moses came down from the mountain, God wanted his people to know that they could be close to him. So he told Moses to make a tent. And it was kind of a church temple tent, so that they could feel close to God wherever they were, because they had a long journey to the promised land. I drew a little line right across the top of this. Now from the corner down to the end of this line, let's draw a line. This was kind of a building with a tent across the top of it. It was called a tabernacle. Right over here, I'm going to draw a few more very tiny wavy lines. Another thing that happened between Egypt and the Promised Land was that there were some scary snakes, and they were poisonous, and they kept biting the people. God made a way to save the people from the snakes. And this is a long way between Egypt and the Promised Land. The people got really hungry. They were walking a lot, and they were carrying their stuff and camping in tents, and so God knew they needed food, and so he sent some miracle food called manna. I'm going to draw something that might look like manna. Nobody really knows. I'm putting a tiny line here, and then a little rounded line on the top of it. They would wake up in the mornings, and there was manna on the ground to eat. Kind of cool, huh? It's one of my favorite Bible stories. God saves the people from Egypt, and then he saves them from drowning, and then he saves them from the snakes, and he saves them from starving to death. It took them 40 years, but they finally got to the Promised Land. Here's where this is different from any Sunday doodle we've ever done. Across this little pathway on our map picture, I'm going to draw a bunch of lines. They need to have a little bit of space between each one. On a corner of my scratch paper, I'm going to use some colors. I cut those out, and I'm going to fold each one in half so that it can kind of stand up like this. So I put it down and it still stands up. You'll want to make sure this is okay with one of the adults in your house before you do it. Back here near the end of the pencil, I'm going to make a little mark, just a little straight line. I'm going to turn it to the next flat surface. I'm going to make 2 marks. On this one, I'm going to make 1 mark. On this one, I'm going to make 2 marks. On this one, 1 mark. And on this one, I'm going to make 3 marks. Now I'm ready to play the Promised Land game. You can play with as many people as you want. It's fun to play with people, but if you're alone, I'm playing this by myself too. So what I do, I get to play both of these, which means that I win either way. Here's how it goes. So if you have 2 people playing, here's how you decide who goes first. So I'm going to play like I'm 2 different people. One of them has the blue ring, that's going to be the green one. They both start out on square number 1. One of them rolls the pencil and it comes up a 2. So whatever number comes up on the top flat surface, that's the number you get. The other person rolls the pencil and it comes up a number 1. So it looks like this person was highest, so that's the pink one. First turn. Ah, it's a 2. Guess what? I won. So no matter who wins the game and gets there first, be sure to give enough turns at the end that anybody who's left behind on the trail has a chance to catch up to the Promised Land. I hope you have a wonderful time playing this game and remembering that God can save us from many problems, including saving us from our sins. You can color this if you want to. I'm going to color mine. Thank you so much. I wish you and your family all health. Have a blessed Sunday.